Well, I'll tell you something. This is no longer a vacation. It's a quest. It's a quest for fun. I'm gonna have fun, and you're gonna have fun. We're all gonna have so much fucking fun we'll need plastic surgery to remove our smiles. You'll be whistling Symphony Doodah out of your Holy shit.
Dad, you want to ask for something?
Don't touch!
Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Amanda. I am a small seller. I am also a small YouTuber. I currently sell on eBay as well as on Niknax and on Whatnot. I'm gonna hold off talking about the live sales I do on Niknax and Whatnot because I'm kind of readjusting this whole thing, and I will keep you guys posted on my plans in the future coming up very quickly. So probably next video we'll talk about that. This video I just kind of wanted to run through with you guys some of the things that I was able to pick up while out on the trip that I took with my mom to Alexander City, Alabama. And it was a lot of fun driving through, I don't know, 4 or 5 states to get down there. It was roughly with stop times, you know, bathroom breaks, that kind of thing. It's like a 12 or 13 hour drive from where I live, which turns into roughly 14 or 15. And then you throw in stopping occasionally at an antique store or something, you're adding on to it there too. So lo and behold, on the way back, we did no stopping. And once you got past a certain point out there, there were very few to no antique shops and very few thrift stores and stuff. And so while in Alexander City, everything is pretty much 40 plus miles away from Alexander City, so it's a good drive to get anywhere, like an antique store or thrift store. I'm gonna run through all of this with you, and I'm gonna try my best to keep it in order of when I picked it up, but it may not be, so I apologize if that's the case. All right, guys, so the very first thing, and you guys probably saw this in a video, some of what I have here you're not gonna see in a video, and I'll talk more about that later. But the first thing I picked up and was in a video I put out roughly a week or so ago was this glass paperweight. And you can see on the bottom, it is a cloudy, it's smooth, but it is a cloudy bottom. You know, it has Murano essence to it with the aventurine, the gold flakes in there and everything. And then this sort of air twist going on with the yellow color in there. I just thought it looked really cool. I don't believe it to be a Murano piece. It's probably made in Mexico, made in China, made somewhere. You know, it's a blown piece, and you can tell looking around the edges of it here where like the gather would have been, and then they smoothed and polished it, or smoothed it anyway on the base for where that ponto would have been. So pretty good sized little paperweight though. I would venture to say it's at least a ½ pound or so. But really, really cool, really pretty. I thought it was gorgeous. I loved it. I think I paid $5 for this one. And there were several other paperweights in that antique shop. I want to say this is the one that was in Fulton, Mississippi. There were several others, but they were all like $15 and up. And some of them maybe would have been worth paying the $15. Most of them probably not, at least for resale, I should say. You guys, I turned off the camera, and then it dawned on me that I hadn't checked any of this stuff to see if it glows. And I was checking everything. I didn't think most of it did, but I was checking everything, and I realized, oh my gosh, that yellow in there, see it yellow? And it turns orange under UV. And I don't know what that means, but I thought it was pretty cool, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. Oh, it's crazy. I love it. All right, another paperweight that I did pick up, but at a different place. This one was at the antique store, I believe, in Alexander City, and I will put their information up here. There's a few things that I'll run through real quick that I feel like I got from this particular antique shop. But this one here says St. Joe Clare on the bottom. And I'm going to put a few screenshots of some comps and stuff up here. There are a couple that are in this sort of teapot-like shape. And then I put one up there that is, I think, just a round one, but it has this like pulled blue floral thing going on the inside. I would imagine value on this one probably anywhere $18 to $30. I don't know. Probably somewhere in that region though. I think I paid $8 for it, if I remember right. I think it was right about there. Another paperweight I found, and I don't remember if I found these in the same place or not. I apologize, guys. It kind of feels like a little bit of a blur now. So I apologize. But I came across this guy, and he needs to be cleaned up a little. He's got a little gunk issue, you know, here and there, and dust and stuff. So I need to clean him up. But I'm not finding any chips or cracks or damage to him. And he's just got this like cool blue-green thing going on. But I was surprised on the base of it. And let me see if I can pull this back a little bit where the sticker's kind of curled up. But on the base of it, there was a left-in sticker. And then there's a sticker with, I guess, maybe a mold number or something there. Which, I don't know, maybe bad on me. I really wasn't aware that Left-In did these types of pieces. So I'm not sure, but it has the original Left-In sticker there. So really cool. And I want to say I got him for maybe $5 or so, somewhere like that. But no damage to him, like I said. And I just thought he was really cool. And again, I would think he's maybe half a pound. Same thing on that little tea kettle-like one. I think these two pieces, both, I'll show them to you one at a time, both came out of that same antique store in Alexander City. And these are cowrie shells. And then they're hand painted, and they had several of them in there. A lot of them were very, very similar, if not the same. They're hand painted, and I'm sure that they do them as tourist piece, you know, probably somewhere near the Philippines-ish, something like that. But I just thought they were really, really cool. This guy here seems to be retaining most all of the paint. I'm not positive what kind of paint they use on these, but, you know. And then there's this one. Again, he's a cowrie shell. But you can see a little bit of paint chipping on here. Now, my husband saw this one, and he fell in love with it. And if I remember to, I'll show you guys a sneak peek. No, I won't, because the room's a mess. Next time that room's cleaned up, I'll show you guys a sneak peek of why he feels like this would go well in his office, because he works from home several days a week. And it's just kind of jungle themed in there. But despite the paint chips, you can clearly still see what's going on here without a problem. And I just thought it was cool. You can see some of the paint chipping up here too. But, you know, so you'd want to be very careful with it so you don't keep chipping the paint. But completely hand painted and really neat. I loved it. Then there was this little box, and this is one of these like paper mache sort of boxes, you know, little trinket box. And, you know, there's some like kind of cracking and stuff to the lacquer on the inside, but I don't see any damage. There's this piece of tape that held the little thing to it. That's the other thing too, when you buy in antique stores, they take all the stinking tags off. So then I'm like, what did I pay for this? It wouldn't have been more than a couple bucks though, guys. I do know that. But I really like this. You know, again, it's all hand painted and it's lacquered, but you can see they have, you know, like little sheep on here. I just loved the naivety of it. I really, really liked it. I thought it was cute. It's black on the bottom. It's not marked or signed anywhere. You know, is it a super valuable piece? No, probably not. But it's adorable. And when I see pieces like this and I can get them for the right price, I like to incorporate these things like in my live sales and stuff like that, because they're really cool. Another piece that I found, which it had, oh, this one they left it on. Okay, it had a $3 sticker on the bottom here, but it was 50% off. I want to say this one was shown in a video also. Well, I don't remember if it was the first or second or what, but I feel like it was shown in a video. But what I loved about it is it has, I think these are forget-me-nots painted on it. Let me set this part now. And I love the lid, this very Art Nouveau Victorian kind of style going on here, right? No chips, no cracks, no damage. And it's just so pretty, so well painted. Oh, wow, and I never noticed that before. So the top of it, she signed as well. And I'll show you guys the signature on the body of this. You know, it's a little, I'd like to say powder jar, but it would be kind of small for that. So I imagine it's a little ring or jewelry or trinket, you know, dish or whatever. It's just pretty. Oh, there's that signature. And what does it say? Jane Ball. So, and I'm not sure who the porcelain's by. The feel of it, I would guess German porcelain maybe. I don't know though, for sure. And like I said, it's not marked in any way for me to know 100%. But either way, it's a very nice porcelain. So I got that for $1.50. Ta-da! This one here, I believe I did find in Alexander City as well. And this is Home Co. I think it was 1977 or something like that. I don't know. It's a 1970s piece though. And I may offer this to my father. He is a lover of squirrels. And so I tend to, anytime I have squirrel figurines and things like that, they often go to him. So I may offer this to him, but they had $3 on it and there's no damage to it. I want to say this originally came in a pair. I don't remember what the squirrels are doing on the other one. But I feel like it did come in a pair, and I'll continue throwing comps up here as I have been able to find them on pieces. Not everything have I found a comp on though, so just a heads up. So you might see that listed or in a live sale. I don't know. I haven't shown it to Pops yet. We'll see what he says. I can't remember the antique store I got her from. I feel like it's in one of the videos though. I at least show her. And they had $13.99 plus 20% off on her. And I just thought she was adorable. In all honesty, I didn't catch that there is a little tiny flea bite to his ear here, but you can hardly notice it anyway. I'm just going to roll with it. I just thought she was so cute. I'm not sure what this mark is here. I'm going to attempt to get it off very lightly, but if my gentle attempts don't seem to work, then I'm going to leave it because it very well may be just a little sloppy glaze wound up there and getting it off would damage her versus make her look better. So, but I loved her sort of Majolica style glaze going on here. I just thought this was stinking adorable. You know, I do think that these pieces are to some degree mass produced. You can Google Lens it and find, if not her, similar other ones where they're in sort of this redware clay. And I do believe they are produced in Japan. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I've not found any artist or pottery house or anything like that associated with it as of yet, but I have been able to find other, if not her, again, other pieces similar online. I don't think she's super high value. I just think she's stinking adorable and I loved her. And so, like I said, she was $13.99 with 20% off. I went ahead and picked her up because I couldn't stand it. I had to get her. Okay, so this one here, this is an L.E. Smith piece and it's in this quilted diamond pattern. And from what I'm seeing thus far online is you can find these, but they're typically not the satin ones. And you can see it has the typical pine cone pineal gland reference up there, but no damage to it, no chips or cracks or any issues going on. I got this at a thrift store. America's Thrift Stores is what it was called, and this was located in Alexander City, and I paid $2.99 for this. And so, you know, I think that they refer to them as apothecary jars, but you know, you could say cotton ball jar or whatever floats your boat, man. You can put whatever you want in there. But I loved it, and there was no damage to it. It was beautiful. For $3, I'll do it. Then, this one here, I kind of really like. And he's a little dirty, too. He needs a little bath, and I'll show you why. But I got him at the same thrift store for $3.99, okay? This guy here, and you can see he's got some dirt up on his hump and by his foot there. So I'll clean him up, but he has no chips or cracks on him. And this guy is milk glass, solid through and through. He is made by Westmoreland. And they made these in different colors. Some of them were like the milk glass swirl sort of thing. So you'll see them like white with blue or that kind of thing sort of deal going on. They made them in uranium glass and cobalts and stuff like that. But values on them can range. It looks like anywhere typically from $30 to, up around 100, give or take. I think the more interesting the type of glass used probably increases that, because I think the uranium glass one and the cobalt were on the higher end. I actually haven't seen a just true solid milk glass comp yet, but I would venture to say no less than $30 or $40. And we're going to talk about this guy a little bit more in depthly here in just a minute. All right, now, before we talk more in depthly about the Westmoreland Camel milk glass dish, I had to show you guys this. So I can't remember which antique store this was in, but hello. This is a gorgeous Empoli mid-century optic, diamond optic. I would almost say quilted diamond optic, because they're kind of rounded out diamonds, with the lid. So it's not just your snifter, it is with the lid. And I also want to say that they refer to these as apothecary jars. You can call it a snifter, you can call it whatever you want. Point is, it's beautiful. That's what's important here. There's no damage to it, no chips, no cracks, no nothing. Oh golly, how tall is it? I meant to measure that before I hit record, and I, as usual, forgot. Hold on, let's find out. All right, so including the lid, he's about 15 inches tall, and the top of the jar itself is about 10.5 inches tall. Oh, let's find out his diameter, roughly. Let's see, I'd say he's, give or take, about 7 inches in diameter at the most bulbous part of him. But beautiful. And they had $20 on this in this antique booth with 25% off. And so I had no qualms with that. And to be honest with you, if it didn't have the lid, I may not have picked it up. But that lid, come on. Oh my gosh. And you guys, to see this, the light reflecting through it, like, I'm not always a big fan of amber, but this is stinking beautiful. I love it. I'm gonna have a very hard time listing it. I'm gonna be honest about it. I already told my husband last night that if he finds this somewhere in the house sitting on a shelf, like being displayed, to do not question that. We're just gonna let it be, and we don't need to talk about it. He'll just need to be aware that it's beautiful and it's staying. But I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. Value-wise on that, I think I was getting kind of mixed feels looking up comps, because I could find things that were sort of similar in the body shape, but not have the optic design, or had the optic design, but they were much shorter and stuff. And so I honestly don't know, guys. I would venture to say probably $60 to $80, but don't quote me on that. I'm going to continue researching a little bit and processing that, and if and when I do list it, I will do the best of my ability to price it where I feel is fair on it, because it is beautiful. It's in perfect condition. It still has the lid, and I love it. I absolutely stinking love it. It looks beautiful without anything in it. It is just gorgeous. I don't know other words to tell you about that. I almost forgot. So my mom had to go run a couple errands, and I stayed behind. And so she had stopped by the Salvation Army that was over by there. I'm not sure where this was. It wasn't in Alexander City. It was a city 20, 30 miles or something like that outside of Alexander City. So she came back, and she had this adorable little set. And when did they make these guys? The 60s, 70s, I think, And I want to say at that time they were ashtrays, but they could have just been nut dishes. I think they're in the tiara pattern, Indiana glass, if I remember right. And they're the tiara pattern. But on the top one, when my mom brought them back to me, I saw this little sticker on it. It said, tiara, $48 for the set. And I looked at her and I said, oh my God, did you pay $48 for all this? And she goes, oh, no. She went up to the checkout. And remember, this was at a Salvation Army. Like, I don't care if they are vintage and cool. That's a little carried away. That's overzealous on the pricing. I'm just going to say it. So she asked about it, are these really $48? And everybody working in there had themselves a conniption fit. and got the manager out there. And I want to say she wound up paying $1.50 or $2 or something like that for the set of them. I will throw comps up on the screen regarding these. In general, this set of 4 clubs, probably, I don't know, $18 to $28, something like that, give or take. It seems like when I was looking up comps, the ones that had higher comps were the ones that were like the full suit. So you had like the heart, the spade, the club, and what's the other thing? Anyways, you had all 4 of them, right? But I don't know. I kind of like having all 4 because all those ones that are different suits, they're not going to stack together like this, right? Because they're all different shapes. And I really like that these are stackable. I don't know. I get giddy over the smallest, dumbest things, I guess. I don't know. But I really, really liked them. And so far, I haven't found any damage to them. Chips, cracks, or otherwise. They're just that really pretty tiara pattern. Sandwich type glass, you know. But they were big during, you know, doing bridge games, card games, and all the ladies got together, and yeah, so you had to have yourself a set of something, whether it was porcelain or glass or whatever, that was card themed, you know, because you had to be cool, you had to match what was going on, right? So yeah. Anyway, my mom did pretty darn good picking those up. Like I said, are they super high dollar items? Absolutely not, but she got them for a great price. We can still make a little bit of money on them. She did great. Okay, guys, I told you that we would go over that camel dish a little bit more. I cannot believe I got this for $2.99. Okay, so let me show you his bottom half here. And again, I haven't rinsed him out or anything yet, so he's still got a little dirt. But there are no chips, no cracks, no damage to this dude anywhere. And I just I like how they did the design on it. He's kind of hard to see because of the light and, you know, and he's milk glass, but just super cool. You guys can go on eBay or Google Westmoreland camel. I think that he was referred to as Humphrey the Camel. I honestly don't know why, but I've seen that quite a bit. So here is his top part. And again, no damage, nothing to his ears, no nothing. I love him. I think he's so stinking cool. So I wanted to read you guys a couple things. I have a couple books. One is Covered Animal Dishes by Everett Grist. And, well, I'm holding this one, so let's start with it. It was copyright 1988, but this book was republished in 1996 with updated values. Okay. There's more information in both of these books that I'm planning on doing a video in the near future that is dedicated just to talking about milk glass in general and pulling information from these books. Because y'all know how I like to do. I like to pump you full of info. Am I out of focus? I'm always out of focus. I'm sorry, guys. If the camera's out of focus at any point in time, it's because I don't realize it. And I'm oblivious, so I apologize. Okay, so I'm going to show you pictures on the screen of this as I read it to you. But here is this picture. It's plate 79, and you can see the camel there in the middle. And plate 79, let's see. Well, we'll just read the whole thing so that we can know a little bit about these others also. Turtle on scroll base with 2 handles. Maker unknown. 7.5 inches long. Now our guy. Resting camel, believed to be early Westmoreland Specialty Company, 6 1/4 inch. And then lastly, crawfish on same scroll base as the turtle, 7 1/4 inch long, maker unknown. I have seen the resting camel recently in a dark transparent blue, believed to be new. Now, pay attention. Right below that, it says, not pictured is a resting water buffalo, which reminds me of the resting camel, probably Valorcithal. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Bear with me. But I imagine that, you know how the base is the same on the turtle and the crawfish there. I imagine that the base on the camel versus the water buffalo probably are pretty similar, if not the same base. I don't know. I've never seen the water buffalo. I didn't know about it till I was reading this. So, you know, little info there. Now I want to look at, real quick, Collector's Encyclopedia of Milk Glass. This is Identification and Values by Betty and Bill Newbound. And I've already got our page tagged here. Okay, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Our camel guy there. Plate 120, top 5.5 inches tall, 5 3/4 inches long. Rusting Camel by Westmoreland, introduced in the 1930s and designed by Westmoreland. Can be found in blue milk as well as other satin or frosted colors. And their value in this book was $110 to $120 for the solid white guy. Now, this book was published in 1995. So when I tell you the values out of this, please don't take that to heart, but it can give you an idea when you're looking at these and say, oh, okay, well, this is valued at $100, but a similar piece was valued at only $80, and help you kind of maybe identify the differences as to why one's valued more than the other. But don't stick hardcore to what the numbers themselves are. It just kind of helps you evaluate which ones are maybe a little more scarce or a little more valuable in general, regardless of what the going rate today is, because they change every single day. So you can't take that as gospel. In the covered animals one, I forgot to tell you guys that part. So plate 79, I think it was. Yeah. Plate 79, that turtle was valued at $185. The resting camel, white, was $120, but opaque blue was $150. And then that crawfish in white, again, was $185. Not pictured, that resting water buffalo they mentioned in white would be valued at roughly $350. So again, take that with a grain of salt, but they're collectible pieces. You know, how cool. And the fact that he's in perfect stinking condition, that is really what blows my flippin' mind. I love him. I love that I got him for $2 or $3.99. How stinking cool. So yeah, in the future coming up, guys, I have so many collector's books and stuff. There's some of you guys, not everybody, but some of you guys out there that really do enjoy like getting some of that history and stuff. And I've talked about before, like, yes, you can go online and you can search the internet, but my golly, be prepared to sift through a bunch of shenanigans. It'll be people's blogs or this or that. And I'm not saying that none of that's right, but try typing in to Google like Westmoreland milk glass camel, and you're going to come up with the first couple pages worth of nothing but listings. And how do you know that those people are correct? So, sometimes you have to go with what information you can obtain, but I've always loved being able to search online, and especially if it's something I have no idea about and I'm trying to figure out like what direction to even go to look for more info. I love being able to Google in something or type in a generic phrase online and come up with stuff, and sometimes stumble across the same piece and then say, okay, this is what they're calling it, and gives me a direction to go in. But I hate taking anything I find online unless it seems to be coming from a credible source, not just a blog, but a credible source that can back up whatever the blog is saying, whatever the listing is saying. Because I won't say I do it without fail. I'm sure I fail at this in some areas, but I really diligently try hard to make sure that the info I put in my listing is as accurate as I can possibly verify. Otherwise, you'll see me say things like in the style of, that kind of thing, because I never want to intentionally mislead anyone on what something is or its past or any of that. So to give you guys a quick little recap on how the overall trip went, we left Monday morning, early Monday morning. I think we finally actually hit the road by about 10 a.m. and knowing it was going to be a roughly 13-hour drive to get to Alexander City. And with full anticipation that we were going to stop here and there, every few hours or so and check out places as we went. And I will tell you guys, I greatly enjoyed this trip as far as being able to spend time with my mom. And that was really, for me, the whole purpose of going. That was a big part of it anyway. But secondly, it was because I wanted to bring something to you guys. I don't get out and about past my sort of area here too terribly often. And so the idea of going on the trip was to take advantage of that. And unfortunately, that part of it really didn't get to happen too much. What I will say to you guys out there who are resellers, and especially if you have a YouTube channel or you're in need of filming, even if it's things for like on Instagram or whatever, and that's how you promote your stuff, it is very difficult to travel with someone who doesn't understand the necessity of filming and taking a little bit of time to do that. So it was, I apologize in the videos if they seem a little bit rushed. We were on the way down there. We were trying to make sure we made it to the hotel reservation on time and stuff like that. And then lo and behold, kind of once we got out there, like I said, everything was virtually about a 40-mile drive outside of Alexander City. And so, which is great. I'm a small town girl. I'm all for the small town. But due to other things going on, and as the reason that apparently we drove to Alexander City, toting around town, that far, because you're looking at 40 minutes to an hour drive just to kind of go anywhere out there, and that's fine, but it eats up a lot of time. And so unfortunately on this trip, time was something we didn't have a whole lot of to go and do that stuff. And so I do apologize to you guys. I had every intention on doing like a little separate travel series playlist and stuff, and it just didn't work out that way. But everybody's safe. Everybody, made it to their destinations okay. And, overall we had a good time. It just, you all know how vacation things go, road trip things go. Theodore, you got this guy, but they rarely ever pan out the way you anticipate them. So I'm one of those people where like I will put down sort of bullet points of maybe how I'd like things to go or places to stop or whatever, but I don't fill in anything else past the bullet point, because you never know. There's always something that comes up that alters your plans or whatever. And so you have to be, if you're going to keep your sanity, I should say, in any way, shape, or form, you have to be able to kind of go with the flow a little bit. And that's the best advice I can give. Overall, like I said, I did have fun, and I was able to pick up, a good handful of cool things. Is it anything that I couldn't find here locally? Probably not. I wouldn't say that. I don't really know what you would go to any part of the country and say you can only for sure find it here. I think there's things that are more predominantly found in certain areas. But, when you travel around, to walk into antique stores and expect to see something different than at home is usually not correct. So, a lot of the antique stores that we went into, they were just like the ones here around me, and I'm sure for the most part around y'all, where, it says antiques on the outside and you walk in and there's some booths that, at the very least do vintage, and you might find an antique here or there thrown in somewheres. But a lot of the booths wind up being homemade soaps, homemade candles, shabby chic, like repurposed furniture and that kind of stuff. So it's, a lot of the booths are things where maybe they've repurposed stuff to make them look old or, whatever, but they're not vintage and antiques is the point. But yet they're being sold in stores that say they are vintage and antique stores. And so I think to a lot of us out there, it can be a little bit disheartening when you walk in somewhere and 90% or give or take of that is not vintage and antique, or there's very little of it mixed in. It makes it a little bit tougher for sure. But nonetheless, I thought that every place we stopped into, the people were great. They were super friendly. We had a good time walking around and looking at stuff. And even over at the thrift store that we wound up going to, there was excitement going on in there too. So you just never know, guys. You never know. But this was my trip to Alexander City. I wanted to share it all with you guys. I was anxious to kind of get a video going. I didn't have cell service off and on through most of this trip, so it was kind of hard to really do work at all. So I definitely am feeling the crunch of trying to get things back in order, and I'm probably honestly taking a couple days to slowly do that and get my mind recentered, because otherwise right now I feel very frazzled. We've been back about a day and a half or maybe 2 days, and I still feel like I'm wandering around in like just cluelessness. So I'm working on that. But I wanted to show you guys what little bit I did get while I was out there. And you should be seeing some of this either in upcoming live sales, or if not, just flat out posted online. If there's anything y'all are interested in, feel free to message me or what have you. That's absolutely fine. I think that's it for this one, guys. I really appreciate y'all hanging out and watching my videos. And I never mentioned to you guys, you know, like, share, subscribe, because I feel like every video you watch on YouTube, everybody says that, and I suppose I'm supposed to, but I don't know. It almost sounds cliche to me at this point, but for the sake of my channel growth, please do like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I started my YouTube channel not because I'm proficient in making videos or an expert on anything. I started it because I'm probably a lot like you. And, you know, I have this small eBay store and stuff, and I don't want to pay other people to promote my stuff, because one, they're not going to promote it the way I want it promoted anyway, and they're not going to show you the coolness of it. You know, they're not going to really talk to you about it. There's no little ad or, you know, pushing something up top that talks about it, you know, like talking about milk glass and stuff. And I'd rather be able to dialogue with you guys and share info and education and stuff. I don't know it all. Y'all teach me a lot all the time. So I loved the idea of starting a YouTube channel in order to interact with all of you guys. Like I said, I'm sure that there's tons of you out there that are small sellers or just getting started sellers. And that was the whole point, was to kind of bring you along with me on this, journey. It's definitely an up and down journey. I have days that feel like a struggle, and other days that I am so happy with where I'm currently at, and every day's different. So anyways, loop that all back around. I just want to thank you guys who do watch my videos, especially if you watch them all the way to the end. It genuinely means a lot to me. So thank you.